What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's get a little spicy, okay? So, in this video, we're going to be talking about all things Real Housewives of Miami. I was going to put this segment into my review for Real Housewives of Miami, but by the time I was done filming this portion, it turned into 30 minutes. And I said, no, ma'am, this needs to be a separate video. So, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So first, let's talk about the after show. So if you are someone who enjoys the after show content that they premiere on YouTube, Real Housewives of Miami just debuted their first clip. So the pairing goes Lisa, Guerdy, and Adriana. They're our throuple. Then you have Kiki and Julia. Then there is Larsa and Stephanie, and then you have Marysol and Alexia. Okay. One thing I did take away from the after show is that Marysol has on the same outfit top or corset top that what's her name? Ashley Darby and Wendy Osefo had on from Real Housewives of Potomac. And honestly, I thought Marysol looked nice in it. I don't think neither one of the women looked bad. I would say that I like Wendy's overall, but if I had to put it in order, I think I would go Wendy, Ashley, then Marysol. But nobody looks bad in the top. I just hope this is not, the Mugler outfit all over again. Or what is that? It was that pink blazer dress. We saw Lisa Rinna and Eric and Jane wear the same outfit one season, and it was that dress. Then Robin Dixon wore the dress as well during the season at Karen's birthday party. So I feel like if we see the outfit three times, then if one of the housewives that hasn't worn the outfit, girl, keep it in your closet. Wait a couple of months and then bring it out. But nobody looks bad. I think all of the women look really pretty. So next, let's talk about Guerdy. So Guerdy dropped receipts on Marysol. So if you watch the episode, and we'll talk about it, Marysol basically said that she thought the Bartesian that Guerdy gifted her was a regift from Lisa. So Guerdy put this on Threads, and a couple of people caught it. I don't have Threads, but they reposted it on Twitter, and she said this: "While this friend labeled me a fashion catastrophe, I was paying for it and delivering a cocktail making machine gift she randomly assumed was a regift. Here's your receipt, boo. Enjoy the cocky now you hear. With friends like this, who needs enemies? Tune in to hashtag RHOM Wednesday 9 p.m. or stream the next day, hashtag Guerdy Abraira." Now I'm gonna be honest, Guerdy, you looked a fool. Like this outfit made no sense with the tie around your waist and around your neck. Nothing about it gave like preppy like it. So you were a fashion catastrophe. She did drop a receipt where she basically showed how much she paid for it, and it looks like she got it off of Amazon, but it was $350 for the Bartesian. My parents have one. I enjoy it. And she also posted this in her Insta story where she said, "Enjoy those cockies. Oh, you're welcome, by the way." So I don't have a problem with Gertie posting her receipts. If you got them, you got them. And if you feel like you being played with and you want to make a statement, do it. Now, would I spend basically 300 and you think about tax, it's more than $350. It was probably $353 and some change on somebody who I don't really feel like is being a genuine friend to me and who hasn't supported me. No, but I'm different. I'm a little bit different. All right. Um, but I'm kind of worried for Gertie. And I'll expound upon this more when I get to the reunion portion of the video. But I feel like Gertie might be setting herself up with the way that she is behaving off of the show. And I'm worried for her. Okay. But let's continue on. So moving on, we need to talk about OK Magazine because they're alleging that Gertie cost the cast their screening privileges. So this article was posted by OK Magazine like 3 or 4 days ago, and I'll put the link to the article in the description box below. I skimmed through it. It talks about Gertie as well as it talks about Stephanie. And they're alleging this is what was somewhat addressed at the reunion. So it says this: Guerdy Abraira leaking episodes to blogger leads to RHOM cast losing their screening privileges, source. So they posted this on Instagram, and it says there has been a lot of drama on the current season of Real Housewives Miami, but the off-screen drama is just as hot. According to an insider, cast member Guerdy Abraira is on thin ice after she broke the rules. An insider revealed to OK. Link in bio for details. So Guerdy responded to this by saying, "Name them," shouts out to Sutton, and then she put hashtag more lies. So I saw several different opinions about this situation. Some people feel like this is a lie and production has it out for Guerdy. Some people feel like either Marysol, Alexia, or Julia is the insider. Then I actually saw some people that said that they could see Guerdy doing this based off of the behavior that they've seen her exhibit in like interviews and things of that nature to get people to be on her side. I don't really know, to be honest. Nowadays, and shouts out to Really BTV. She spoke about this. She spoke about how people have the technology to track IP addresses and to see how many times a link is open and who has opened the link. So if they do have proof that Guerdy was doing it, then there's that. I could see Marysol, Alexia, or Julia putting this information out because the fans haven't really been receiving them so well. I could see production doing this because they don't like Guerdy. We know that production sometimes can have, ill feelings towards a housewife, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Maybe somebody will have proof and it will be the gotcha moment, but I don't really see Guerdy doing this, but I also don't put it past anybody either. So moving on, let's talk about Larsa, and this will be quick and brief because a lot of people had a lot to say about her face. Like I was like, dang. So this came, I think, from page 6, but it says about face RHOM. Larsa Pippen debuts a very different face in an unfiltered photo from NYC event as fans say this looks painful. And her face does look filled up, like she got a massive amount of filler and things of that nature. So Larsa pretty much responded to a creator, and this is coming from comments by Bravo, where she said, "Honey, I had a PRP and had an allergic reaction, so chill out." So I had to Google what a PRP was. So this is what pops up on Google. It says a PRP, platelet-rich plasma therapy, is a treatment that uses a concentration of a patient's own platelets to promote healing and reduce inflammation in various conditions. It's often used for muscular injuries, including tendons, ligaments, cartilage problems, and even for hair loss and facial rejuvenation. The process involves drawing a patient's blood, separating the platelets, and then injecting the concentrated PRP into the affected area. And this is all according to UC Health. So if she's telling the truth, then hey, I would be surprised that your body would react negatively to its own platelets, but things happen. I just think that, Larsa should just leave her face alone. But if she is saying that she had allergic reaction, then it is messed up that everyone is like, "Oh my God, her face." Some people even say she's starting to look like Mama Elsa, Marysol's mom, who had really bad plastic surgery. But I'ma just leave it alone. So moving on, let's talk about Watch What Happens Live. So I have several clips that I want to get into as it pertains to Miss Adriana. She was featured on there with Lonnie Love. So let's get into that. So the first question that was asked about Adriana or asked towards Adriana was, how does she feel about Guerdy calling Marysol and Alexia a cult? And how does she feel about Kiki being the bone collector?
Do you agree with Guerdy that Alexia and Marysol are like a cult? And what did you think about Kiki repeating what Guerdy had said to Marysol?
Well, they can be as tight as a cult. I mean, like they're just unbreakable, which to me, I can see it as a positive. but they do exert influence on the other ones. And some people tend to, be the bone carriers.
I don't necessarily believe that they are a cult, but they do have a type of pull over this group. But to me, when I think of cults, because I do like watching cult documentaries, it's like people blindly follow the cult leader. And these women don't blindly follow Alexia and Marysol, if you ask me. We've seen Larsa go back and forth with Alexia and Marysol. We've seen Julia do it. We've seen Lisa. Like, everybody has gotten into it with everybody on this show to a certain extent. Maybe not Kiki, but I just don't see them as a cult. But I do believe that they do have a certain type of pull over the group. When it comes to Kiki being the bone carrier, we do need one. I don't know if it should have been Kiki. So moving on to another clip.
Adriana, which lady in your group would have the worst chances of getting into Harvard?
Whoever didn't finish high school.
Who didn't finish high school?
I mean, I'm not going to name names.
Did one of the women in your group not finish high school?
I think there's a couple.
A couple? Really?
But a GED counts.
Wow.
Yes.
Is her first initial L?
No,
Oh.
no, she has a college degree. I
Yeah.
think the first initial is Y.
Why? We're gonna find out at the reunion? Okay. All right. Is there a housewife with the first name Y on Miami? Control room? No.
No. It's not.
Yulia?
We don't say that for the reunion.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh.
okay.
We're going to have to watch this
Spin it
reunion.
around.
So this is the type of energy I want Adriana to have for Julia. And mind you, they filmed this the day before the reunion. The reunion was filmed on Thursday of this week, and she filmed this Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday. And, I told y'all this before. I wanted Adriana to have the same amount of energy, if not more, for Julia the way that she has for Marysol. And it seems like she brought that to the reunion, because I was like, whose name starts with a Y? Nobody's name on this cast starts with a Y until a Twitter user by the name of Kickback W Rolex posted a picture of Julia, and it says her name also starts with a Y. Like, it says Julia Limgova, but also name is Yulia Advenara. I think that's how you say her last name. I'm probably wrong. So I need them type of clever reads. Okay, it's funny that Andy spoke about Larsa, but Larsa actually did go to college, and I think she graduated with a political science degree. So she not that vapid or stupid. So the last clip we're going to get into is Adriana being asked who was the rudest housewife she ever met, and it caused pretty much a lot of commotion online. So let's get into that.
Adriana, who's the rudest Real Housewife from another city you've ever encountered?
Uh-oh.
Giselle.
Wow,
What?
really? Giselle?
No.
Really? Where?
We're BravoCon here in New York, and we're sharing a car. Oh, she was so rude.
Oh, really?
Oh, because you were sharing a car.
did not
That's
get
why.
She was
along.
giving me sass because I got the front seat and she came her second, so she had to be sitting in the back, so she wasn't happy about it.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, after the break.
I believe this. I could definitely see Giselle being rude to other housewives that she doesn't feel like is on her level. We've seen the way Giselle has treated people she doesn't like. I can see Giselle being this way. And Giselle actually responded by commenting under a post. And shouts out to Gibson Johns, because that's where I got it from. And he reposted Giselle's comment where she said, "Hoppo, who this woman?" And that statement alone makes me feel like you probably treated Adriana like she was a nobody, okay? So this prompted Caroline Brooks and Mia to come out and make statements. Mia said facts, so she's co-signing what Adriana is saying. And then Caroline Brooks from Real Housewives of Dubai actually posted a statement about an interaction she had with Giselle at BravoCon. And she said this: "She is rude. She yelled at me in front of my mom at BravoCon because I said she's mixed race. I didn't know she claimed to be completely African American. I didn't know her or watched her show. I just said that she's clearly biracial or multiracial. And I said, hey, Yes, the mixed race lady from Potomac. I said the same thing about Robin, and she was super nice. It didn't bother her as much. She just explained to me that growing up, people would say that, and it was problematic for them for a lot of reasons, and they do identify as black. I said, okay, I understand and moved on. But Giselle went crazy, and my mom had to little stand between us. I think she meant literally stand between us. She's rude. I would love to see her percentages of African American DNA versus European if she's willing to do a little test. So here's my take. Brooks could have left the whole like, let's compare African American DNA versus European DNA. Ugh, we know everybody is mixed and mangled together because of colonization and imperialism, all right? And Giselle and Robin have always got these what's the word? These comments since season one of Real Housewives of Potomac. One of the biggest gripes was, "Girl, how is this the chocolate city?" And the darkest person on the show was Charisse. Okay, and people have always questioned both Robin and Giselle about, their backgrounds. So I do understand that it probably is frustrating because phenotypically, Giselle and Robin have traits that are not associated with like black phenotypic traits, but that doesn't make them any less black or things of that nature. So I could understand Giselle and Robin being frustrated or turned off by those types of comments. Now, if Giselle was really that angry and that rude towards Brooks, that I don't think that was called for, in my opinion, especially if she meant no harm by it. But knowing Brooks, maybe she said it with an attitude. I don't know, because Brooks can be rude as well. But who knows? I still believe Giselle is rude. So, moving on, let's do an update. So, Andy actually responded to Martina's comments about surrogacy, and I'm not going to post we're not going to get into the article. I'll just put the link in the description box below, but it's a page 6 article. I'm just going to read what they tweeted out, and it says, Andy Cohen blast ill-informed and dumb Martina Navratilova's for her controversial surrogacy take. Okay, so I wonder if they're going to really touch upon it more at the reunion, or if Andy actually had a conversation with Martina about what she said. So let's get into the reunion. So shouts out to Jay's reality blog because they posted the picture of Andy, of him taking a selfie with the cards for the reunion. And that's how I found out that they filmed the reunion on Thursday. They also released the seating chart. And when I tell you the internet was confused, and I was a part of the confusion because I said, what is this? I am perplexed by this. But the seating chart goes, you have Stephanie, Lisa, Guerdy, and Adriana on the left side of the couch, or the left couch. On the right couch, you have Alexia, Larsa, Julia, Marysol, and Kiki. And I was like, what is this? Why did we do this? Because Julia and Guerdy should be first chair, and Stephanie and Alexia should be third chair. Because honestly, all Alexia has done is cry about Todd. That's it. That's all she has done is cried about Todd. And it's just kind of like, it's annoying at this point. Even your best friend finds it to be annoying. So this is dumb. This is very dumb and stupid. Then you have Stephanie. All we know about Stephanie is she got a plane and she's a boss, and she has issues with her sisters. But nobody really cares about that storyline, is because a lot of people feel like it's one sided. So I don't get how they got first chair. The only thing I could think as to why Julia and Guerdy are third chair is because Julia is being reprimanded by her behavior, and then Guerdy got pushed to third chair so that the lineup makes sense. Because if you look at it, everybody is paired up with who they had beef with. Alexia and Stephanie, Lisa and Larsa, Adriana and Marysol, Guerdy and Julia, and then Kiki's at the end because she hasn't really had beef with nobody. So I'm just like, ugh. But the only reason why I feel like they're punishing Julia is because the Hollywood Reporter released an article, and shouts out to Gibson Johns because he gave the bullet points about what was in that article. And the article was an interview or a sit down with an executive producer from Real Housewives of Miami, as well as a Bravo exec. So the bullet points went like this. They've garnered 14% increase in viewership, which is great. That's probably why they got renewed for season 8 already. They also spoke about how they have garnered a steady fan base, which I think was definitely a smart idea to have the show on Peacock first to see whether it would do good. And it did. And then I think it was season 6. Look, I think, yeah, last season or the season prior. No, I think it was season 6. Season 6 is when they posted this season on Bravo. Okay. Then we also had them stating that the execs had a very strong and hard talking to Julia. And what that translates to me is they're not getting rid of Julia mainly because of her wife. If Julia was not married to Martina, she would have been gone. Because what else has Julia really given us other than her relationship with Martina? She did speak about the death of her son. But if you think about the last couple of seasons, so season 5 and 6, Julia ain't really giving us anything. Much of nothing, if you think about it. She's been coasting. And I think that's because the execs like the fact that they have a tennis legend on the show. And it doesn't matter if she has problematic views, okay? So I feel like them putting her third chair was a way of like humiliating Julia, because a lot of people were poking fun at her and making fun of her when they released the seating chart. People were like, Julia did all that carrying on thinking that she probably was going to be first chair only to be third chair. Like, you a clown, put your clown mask on, okay? You showed yourself to be a certified weirdo, and now here you are, third chair. Goofy, you know? But yeah, Julia and Guerdy should have been first chair. So continuing on with the reunion, we have Stephanie showing pictures, or someone got pictures of what Stephanie posted on her door or her dressing room door for the reunion. So this was posted by Queens of Bravo, and it says this: Stephanie put up this sign on her dressing room door at the RHOM reunion, and it says, "Please, no unstable people beyond this point. Caution, this chihuahua bites." And then she actually has her company name, Soma, at the bottom, or Shoma at the bottom. Girl, I mean, it's cute. I wonder if she'll start selling those signs, you know, on her website or something. But I feel like the whole Chihuahua thing is beyond me at this point. It's not that deep. But I do like this kind of carrying on when it comes to my housewives. So continuing with Stephanie, she got wind of everyone being upset or being confused as to how she got first chair, because I saw a lot of people saying that Stephanie bought that first chair. Because everybody was like, this makes no sense. She had to have bought that chair. So she said this, and this is also coming from Queens of Bravo. It says, Stephanie has seen what you have said about her getting first chair at the reunion, and she doesn't give a F. So Stephanie posted the reunion seating chart, and she said, sweetie, why is everyone so angry? Oh, the seating chart hurts your feelings. Bless your couch. That's kind of funny. Bless your couch is kind of funny. But you just gotta roll with it. Like, Stephanie, it doesn't make sense to us. So people are gonna voice their opinions and their concerns. So continuing with the reunion, we know the reunion was filmed on Thursday. Well, a few of the ladies came out to basically speak about their experience at the reunion. And since I was talking about Stephanie, let's continue. So she posted this in her Insta stories and said, say what you want about me, but whatever I start, I finish, and I give it my absolute 100%. Reunion done, season 7 over. And she's like in her Soma pajamas getting on her jet. And next thing you know, the other slide she put, she says, you think watching season 7 is wild? Try living it. TV is no joke. Many hate me, some love me. Hardly anyone is in the middle, but I showed up and I did it, and I'm still standing. And it's like a picture of her dancing in her private jet. So I don't know if this means that she had a good reunion performance, or if she's just, talking about her experience as a whole. Okay. Because I will say it is probably taxing and difficult to do reality TV, because, like a lot of the women who have done reality TV has said, you get triggered like 3 times. Like you go through the experience in real time when they're filming it, then you have to watch it back with everybody's opinions about the situations that you lived through and your behavior. And then the third time is when you have to relive it all over again at the reunion. So I'm not going to knock anybody for saying like, yo, at least I did it and I finished it. I didn't run away. I didn't walk away. I showed up. So I can give people props for that. Moving on, let's talk about what Kiki posted. She posted this in her Insta story saying, today, question mark, a ride. The rest, question mark, you'll have to stay tuned. So a lot of people saw this, and I thought maybe Kiki was saying that the reunion was a wave of different like emotions. Like they probably had high highs, low lows. It was funny at times. Like I don't know, because some people were like, "Oh, is this Kiki's way of confirming that they held her feet to the fire about how she was treating um Guerdy this entire season?" I don't know. I am interested to see if that is brought up, if they do have a back and forth and come to some type of understanding. But there's that. So the last thing I want to talk about is Guerdy, Adriana, and Lisa. They posted this picture after the reunion, and it was a triple post where all 3 of them were tagged in the photo and it was reposted on their page. But Guerdy is the one that made the post. And it says hashtag RHOM reunion. Question mark done. Beauty, brains, and bulletproof receipts. She has hashtag about last night. Then she said had hashtag Guerdy Abraira, hashtag Adriana de Menudo, hashtag Lisa Hochstein. And this is where I will expound upon my thoughts about Guerdy and why I'm a little concerned for her for next season. I've been trying to find a nice way to say what I'm about to say, but like I'm just gonna say it. If Guerdy stays on this show for season 8, I can definitely see the fans switching up on her because they're already starting to do it now. A lot of people are getting annoyed with the way that Guerdy is behaving off the show, like doing the interviews, being in comments, posting the receipts. Mind you, I don't really have a problem with it because even though I find Guerdy to be annoying, I do feel like she has every right to defend herself and to speak out against people if she feels like she's being lied on or disrespected or being done wrong. My issue is I think Guerdy feels as though that Lisa and Adriana are like her new friend group on this show and they're going to have her back. And I don't think that's the case. Maybe Adriana, but not Lisa. Lisa to me is definitely a fair weather friend and she has more history with Alexia, Marysol, and Larsa that the moment that they be like, hey, monkey, come get drinks with us, she's going to drop Guerdy and Adriana and go be with them. Because it's weird to me that Lisa is acting like she's being treated the same way as Guerdy and Adriana when she's not. The only thing that she has had to deal with this season is beefing with Larsa about still following Marcus Jordan, and then her being late all the time. Nobody else has really been on her neck like that, okay? Other than that one time Stephanie chastised her. So I just see Lisa switching up, and I'm just worried that Guerdy expects this amount of support and praise from the fans, and I don't think it's going to stay that way. Because one thing I will say is she's never had this much support and praise from the fans, even when she let us know she had cancer last season. Like, since season 4, people have liked Guerdy or been indifferent towards her, but this is the first time I've seen people really go up for her. But it is like I'm starting to just see shifts in the way the fans are talking about her, that if she does stay on season 8, people are not going to want to hear what happened this season. They're going to want you to wipe the slate clean and move forward. And I don't know if Guerdy's going to be able to do that. And I'm nervous for her because I just feel like this show is so reminiscent of Real Housewives of Potomac season 7, where everybody wanted, myself included, for it to be Karen, Candace, and Wendy up against Giselle, Robin, Mia, and Ashley. And we see how that went. Candace left the show after season 8. Karen is in jail, which is wild to me still. And her and Wendy are not in a good place. And now Wendy is cool with Giselle. And I see things falling apart for this group as well. So I just hope Guerdy is prepared to be on her own if she continues to be on this show. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be brutally authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below. Subscribe, like the video, and be on the lookout for my Real Housewives of Miami review. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.